really well. Yes. Okay, so I am going to basically just ask you a couple questions to test your knowledge, kind of, just to make sure that you've gotten some of these things down. So I guess I'll write them down too as you name them. So what is the buoy which marks a safe area?
I know.
Yes?
The fairway buoy.
Yes. Do any of you guys remember the other name for it sometimes used?
Don't look at your cheat sheet.
Anybody? It's usually in the middle of the channel.
Middle channel buoy.
Yes, the mid-channel buoy is sometimes used. Okay, and so let's say you were returning into port. What color of buoy would be on your right side? Yes.
Red.
Red. Yes. And what is the red buoy?
The starboard hand buoy.
Yes. Okay. So, a really good trick actually for the starboard hand buoy is that is often used by a lot of people are the 3 R's. It's red, right, returning. So in case you have any trouble like remembering which is which side the red one is on, it's basically red, red, returning. So when you are returning into port, the red buoy will be on your right side.
Good.
So that's basically a good way of remembering it. And actually, if you think about it, also like you could say, when you're leaving, it is on your left side. So there's 2 L's there too, in case that helps.
Leaving.
Leaving, it's on your left side.
Leaving port left.
Yeah, starboard buoy. Leaving, starboard buoy is on your left side. Okay, so I guess what is the opposite of the starboard hand buoy?
Buoy.
Port hand buoy? Yes. What color is the port hand buoy?
Green.
Yes. And do you remember whether it is flat or pointed, the port hand buoy?
Flat.
Yes. Good. So, and now, anybody know what the last one is?
Isolated danger buoy.
Yes. And so what can you tell me about the isolated danger buoy?
It's black and red with horizontal stripes.
Well, with one horizontal stripe.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
It has a white flashing light, and it flashes every 5 seconds.
Yes.
And
It's
yeah,
2 every 5 seconds, yes.
And then it marks isolated hazard.
Mm-hmm. So just for that, what do you think, so if you can remember, what do you think would be marked and what you think wouldn't be marked necessarily as an isolated danger?
A sandbar.
Yeah, that could be marked. Well, what do you think would not necessarily be marked?
An island.
Yeah? Okay.
Maybe a big rock that you can see clearly.
Mm-hmm. Well, so basically, those are the 4. And so, an important thing to remember is not all dangers are necessarily marked. So, like, not all, if you're in a remote area, not all these dangers will necessarily be marked. So, a good thing to remember is when you're sailing near shore, just always be careful to look out for stuff. Like, because you could if you're near shallow shores, like there's more chances of there being different hazards. If you're out in the middle of the sea, like it's definitely less likely, but I guess you should still be careful. But especially when you're inshore near near a beach or something, there's definitely lots of hazards that you have to look out for. So basically, that is the lesson. Any last questions or comments?
Danger buoy, like, is there any kind of rule of thumb about how close you can get to it? Like, would it generally be placed right over top of a hazard?
Yes, usually they try, like, the isolated danger buoy is as close to or like right on top of the hazard if it can be. And so basically, if you see that buoy, you just want to avoid it as soon as possible. Right?
How do you know, like, how close? Like, should you look at a map to know how big and
Well,
dangerous?
usually the point of the isolated danger, like, it's usually isolated enough that it's not necessarily on a map. That's why they have the buoy there. So, so it wouldn't necessarily be on a map because it's isolated. And usually, if it's something that's big enough that like you wouldn't be able to avoid it just by it being right on top, like maybe they'd have like a number of buoys around it. So like maybe if it was a really large thing, there'd be one on each corner, like so it's just around that area, just kind of to say don't enter that area. Okay.
So I get confused between. I have a hard time remembering the difference between a fairway buoy and the isolated danger buoy, which is a big problem, right? Do you have any good ways of remembering, like, the difference between a fairway buoy and an isolated danger buoy? Because they they're both kind of big,
Well,
and they're not red or green.
no, but the fairway buoy has vertical. It has like a vertical stripe, and the danger buoy has horizontal stripe. I guess also you can think like the fairway buoy is white, so like white, not necessarily dangerous, and black, it's like you don't want to go near that, right?
Okay,
So
it's like evil.
maybe yes. Okay, so that's our lesson, and hopefully you learned.
Thank you.